Hey, what's up, everybody? The Fish Tank Guy here, and welcome back to the Fish Tank Guy podcast. It's been a little while. Today is Sunday, October 25th of 2020, and the last time that I recorded a podcast was, let me look here. It was August 29th. Not too bad, right? August 29th, 2019, over a year ago. So for those of you who are still listening or have started listening or have picked up where we left off last time over a year ago, thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking out the podcast. Today's going to be a little jumbled, I guess you could say. I'm just going to try to talk about some random things. I do have kind of a fun aquarium topic to talk about this week, which is a new tank that is just hitting the market this week. So I think that's going to be something fun to talk about. I'm going to do my 5 movie reviews in 5 minutes or less feature. It's going to be focusing on Halloween type movies, scary movies, horror movies, you could say. So that's going to be fun. I've been watching a lot of scary movies with the family lately because that's what we do in October. So that's been a good time. And also, just kind of random topics here or there. I want to tell you guys straight up front a few things I will not be talking about. I'm not going to be talking about politics because who hasn't had enough of politics at this point in time? And I'm also not going to be talking about masks and the coronavirus and all of that stuff that has been going on since March of this year, as all of you probably know. So we're going to avoid those things. You guys are listening to the podcast here to hear about things other than the stuff we are slammed with on a daily basis. So first off, a little bit about the podcast. So for those of you who are new, this is actually the 18th episode of the podcast that I'm going to be recording. I've done 17 other episodes. I wanted to do them bi-weekly. That is completely unrealistic for me, given how busy I am. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do this once a month. I feel like once a month is much more reasonable and something that I'll be able to keep up with. So if you are tuning in for the first time or you are a listener who has checked out the podcast before, stick with me. Going to go for once a month. That'll give you guys a little bit of, your aquarium fix there, on a fairly regular basis. So basically, I go by the name of the Fish Tank Guy, but my channel is something that I gear towards beginners and people who are just starting in the saltwater hobby, because at this point in time, I probably have roughly, I want to say, 8 years of experience in the saltwater hobby, which may seem like a lot, but compared to folks who really know what they're doing and know all the coral and all the fish and everything you need to keep a certain coral and everything you need to do to maintain your aquarium perfectly and have balanced chemicals and you do dosing and all these other things, I'm a far cry from that. The other thing that I want to say I'm a far cry from is going out and telling my viewers to purchase the most expensive equipment, the best equipment they can get. Because let's face it, not everybody has hundreds of dollars to dump into an aquarium. And I've found that even years into the, saltwater hobby, the reefing hobby, that, a couple weeks ago, I actually went to a new local fish store that I had never been to from out of town. So I guess it's not local. It's local to there, but not local to me, if you know what I mean. So anyway, I went to this local fish store and I was talking to them a little bit about my Fluval Evo 13.5 gallon aquarium, and just kind of, I was looking at a certain coral and I proposed the question. I said, I've never had this type of coral before. What kind of lighting would you recommend? Would you say that it's got, low lighting needs, moderate, or high? And the person working there basically said, Well, I can't answer that question for you because there's no such thing as low, medium, and high lighting. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I get that, right? Especially with LED lights. Lighting has become very difficult to put into categories, and I understand that. And as somebody who has been in the hobby, I knew what he was referring to, and I kind of knew how to respond to him. But I try to put myself in the shoes of somebody who doesn't have much experience and is going into one of those stores and ask a question like that because that's what they've seen on the internet. And if somebody were to give me that kind of answer, being a person with not much reef experience, I would kind of be caught off guard. I would feel stupid by that answer, right? Well, I can't tell you because low, medium, and high lighting doesn't exist, right? I would feel stupid. And I would definitely feel like I was being talked down to. And even in that position, I felt like I was being talked down to. So, one of the reasons that I wanted to start my channel in the first place is that I wasn't able to find a lot of, I'll call it layman's terms information about saltwater tanks online when I first started my BioCube, my 29-gallon BioCube. So that's when I said to myself, this might be an opportunity to help some people out. It might be a fun opportunity to document my journey and, help people along the way, show people that they can do it, show people that it doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg, show people that they don't have to know everything because let's face it, anybody who's been a part of this hobby, they don't know everything. They still don't know everything. I don't care if you've been in the hobby for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you'll still encounter things that you haven't seen before. So, that being said, that's where I got my start from. This is the Fish Tank Guy podcast, but my primary way of communicating with folks in the community, the internet community, I guess you could say, is through my YouTube channel, which is also just called the Fish Tank Guy. So, if you're tuning into this and you want to see a little bit of what I'm about, you can go check out the YouTube channel. It is the Fish Tank Guy, and I've got a bunch of videos up there. Some of them aren't the greatest advice. Some of them are pretty good advice. A lot of my older videos are kind of silly to watch them because I did things wrong. But look, that's like part of this hobby. And, I've been lucky to have people reach out to me who wanted to start a fish tank, and they asked me questions. And, I did my best to give them reasonable answers. And, they later came back and they said, like, hey, you really, helped me to have some confidence that I could do this, that I could start a tank. And I really enjoy it and I have fun with it and I get something out of it. And that is all I'm trying to accomplish. I'm also trying to give people good advice. And I'm trying to give people, like I said, reasonable advice. So just as a follow-up to that conversation with that guy in the local fish store, when I spoke with him and he told me that, and I came back and I said, okay, yeah, I know, right, that there's no such thing as low, medium, and high, but kind of like I got annoyed, right? Just answer the question. You know what I meant. Just answer the question. Don't get on your high horse and explain to me all about the par values and spectrum values and, red, green, blue mixture and all this other crap. Don't. I don't need it. So anyway, I was kind of annoyed, right? And I mentioned the Fluval Evo and how I have stock lighting. And his first response, again, this is somebody who you will encounter very often in this hobby. His first response was, I don't know anybody who has stock lighting in that tank. I would go with a, I can't even remember what he said, but he basically recommended a $400 light to me. He's like, well, I would go with this. And I would definitely upgrade. I wouldn't use the stock lighting. First off, he knows almost nothing about the tank, right? He might have read about it in passing. And then he recommended a light to me that costs almost 4 times as much as the tank itself. So again, a lot of people in this hobby need to understand that folks who want to enjoy saltwater tanks and reef tanks, they might not have the disposable income to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on their aquarium. And that's fine, but if you're put in that position as somebody who can give advice, right, or encourage somebody to be a part of the hobby, and that's the kind of response you give, and you make them feel stupid or you make them feel spoken down to, it's going to discourage them from being a part of the hobby. And even if people, start a tank and they kill a couple fish because they don't know what they're doing, right? So what? They're trying. And as long as they're willing to listen and take advice from others, I don't see any harm in that. So, long story short, that's how I started on YouTube. I decided to start the podcast because podcasting was a thing, and it kind of caught on. I'm just looking at my Podbean. I host my podcast on Podbean because it's fairly inexpensive, and obviously I posted once in the last year, so why am I going to spend a lot on podcast hosting? But for all time, 17 episodes, I have almost 3,100 downloads. That doesn't include streams. So 3,100 downloads for me just talking to a mic, blabbing on and on, I think is pretty good. So I felt like, hey, I want to stick with this. I want to keep going, do once a month. I think I mentioned before that I'd like to do guests every now and then, find other people. You're going to have to excuse me because I'm going to be, clear my throat a lot because I haven't talked this much in forever. So hold on a second. Okay. So anyway, long story short, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna see where it goes. I actually have some new equipment. I don't know if you guys will be able to notice or not, but I got a brand new microphone, and it's fancy. It's a USB mic, but it's also a mic that you can plug into like an amp, and it has headphones that I can plug into it for instant feedback, so I can hear what I sound like as I'm being recorded, which is cool, which I didn't have with the other microphone in the past. So hopefully the podcast sounds a little bit better. Go ahead and give me feedback. Let me know if I'm too loud or too soft, or if I'm too far away from the mic or too close to the mic. I don't know. And we'll go from there. So on today's podcast, all right, let's talk about, let's do random topic that I think can apply to most people. I'm going to tell you right now, this is completely random. But if you're listening to this on a phone or computer or whatever, you probably have a wireless router in your house. Don't worry, I'm not sick. It's literally, I have very sensitive vocal cords. And if I talk for a long time, they start to like break up, and I have to cough and everything. So just try to ignore that and get through it. But if anybody has a wireless router at home and you're noticing that your speeds of your wireless connectivity is like fluctuating pretty bad, or you have to reset your router once every couple days, I'm going to tell you right now, stop dealing with it. Stop putting up with it. Like, I put up with that for a couple months, and it led to people in my house complaining all the time. Oh, the internet's out again. Oh, our internet, our house sucks. Right? Like, so I dealt with that for long enough, and I should have just made the jump right away as soon as my router started doing that, because let's face it, if your router's out of warranty, this kind of tends to happen with routers over time, is that their ability to transmit wirelessly gets flaky. It didn't help because I had my wireless router in a cabinet. I try to keep the door open most of the time, but I feel like it was probably heating up and cooling down fairly often, which wears on the components over time. I think that's what happened. I've had this current router for about 2.5 years, and it bit the dust. So I decided to look around and find a new router, but I didn't want to spend like a ton of money. I don't want to spend like $200 or $300 or $400. They have these, full home wireless router setups. I'm a tech guy. I'm an IT guy, but I'm also, like I said, just with the same with my fish tanks, it applies to my IT. I'm like a reasonable tech guy. I want nice technology that works well, but I don't need the top of the top. I don't need the best of the best. And I'm not looking at a Google, full home multi-access point mesh wireless router system for $500-$600. I'm not looking for that. So after doing some searching and doing some reading of reviews, I stumbled upon this TP-Link AX3000 wireless router. It had really good reviews on Amazon. On Amazon, it was $180, which is kind of a lot. And then I found that in the store, in Walmart, it's only $130. $50 off of Amazon's price. $50. So it was only $130. I was like, gosh dang, that's a good deal. I went the same day to Walmart and I picked it up because I thought it was like, that's going to sell. I had a bunch of them. So Amazon's just charging more, I guess. So anyway, if you need a new wireless router and you don't want to spend an arm and a leg, this thing is really cool. It's really nice. It's easy to set up. It's a Wi-Fi 6, which is the newest Wi-Fi technology. It's supposed to like beam the signal directly to your device. I don't know how much I buy in all that nonsense, but it's supposed to beam the signal directly to your device. It's supposed to maintain your connection better than the previous iteration of routers. It's supposed to be faster. It's supposed to be more stable, all that good stuff. It can support more devices. So if you are like my house, you know, I have a phone. I have a desktop that is connected via wireless, unfortunately, because getting wired to all these rooms is really difficult. So I have a desktop. I have a phone. I have a tablet that I use every now and then. Okay. Then I have an Xbox. My wife has a computer. Excuse me. We got a computer for the kids to do schoolwork on. They have a Chromebook. My stepson has a phone. My stepdaughter has an iPod. They both have iPads. Like, it's just, there's a lot of devices connected. And with the older routers, it's just like all that wireless traffic floating around in the air. First off, can't be good for you, right? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I swear, in 15 years from now, everybody's going to have a big growth on their leg where their pocket is from wearing their phone in their pocket all the time. A lot of time I would try to take my phone out and put on the table or like get it away from me, because subconsciously I'm just thinking to myself, what is that doing? That, like, I had a cell phone when I was in college. I had a flip phone when I was in college, and I would always put the phone underneath like the monitor when I was sitting there working, like writing papers or doing research, and I would know like a second before I would get a text message that I was getting a text message, because I had a CRT computer monitor. A second before I would get the text message, the edges of the screen would kind of suck in just like an inch or two, like whoomp. You know what I'm saying? You've seen that like on a show. Whoomp. It would kind of like the screen would kind of distort. And like, oh, I'm getting a text message. Sure enough, boom, text message. So obviously that signal, there's something there with that signal. So everybody's going to be walking around. Yeah. I got a pocket growth, man. They're testing it. Hopefully it's benign. Benign's good, right? Is benign good? Malignant is bad. Benign's good. Yeah. Well, I got the pocket growth. Yeah. So did Greg, man. Yeah, got the pocket growth. He says benign. Yeah, his is benign. Oh, thank God. Everybody's gonna have pocket growths. Some people are gonna have butt growths. People put their pocket in their back phone, or people put their phone in their back pocket. You know what I mean? Okay. Anyway, just to wrap up this router thing, this TP-Link AX3000 router is really cool. Like I said, it's easy to set up, but the nice thing about it is if you have kids, it has these parental controls. And what you can do is you can assign devices that are connected to your router to your kids. So like, for example, my stepson, I have a couple devices assigned to him. I have his iPad mini, which is kind of old. I have his cell phone, and I have his school iPad. He has an iPad for the high school that he goes to. So I have those 3 devices assigned to him. And what you can do is you can do a couple things. One, you can set up a schedule on when those devices should be able to access the internet. So one thing that is like really prevalent now is like cyberbullying, and kids are always connected and they're always getting like bombarded with all this stuff. And we do have some, parental controls in place on the devices, but it's really hard to monitor them because they're so mobile, and it's not like your kid's sitting at a computer in the middle of the living room and you can say like, okay, that's enough, like go do something else, right? So the nice thing about it is you can set it a schedule to turn off the Wi-Fi just for those devices during certain time periods. So like during a school night, you can have them shut off at like say 9 o'clock, and on the weekend you can have them shut off at say like 11 o'clock. Like that's when you need to wrap it up. So that's cool. And the second thing about it that's really neat is it allows you to do what's called insights. So insights will show you the website domains that person on those devices that are assigned to them visited. So you could see like, oh, okay, they're watching YouTube. Oh, they're on TikTok or whatever. And then you can also see if there's sites in there that they shouldn't be going to. And you can see all of that from your router. You don't have to take their device and check it out. I mean, you can still do that, right? But you can see the domain. So that's the main website. You can't see like Google searches or anything like that. But you can see the main website that they've gone to on this router, which is pretty cool. And it's, if you're a parent and you're trying to help, shield your kid from all the crap that they can get to on the internet with these devices and all of the opportunities for other people to, give them a hard time or, like I said, bullying and all that stuff. If you want an opportunity to cut down on that, cut down on their screen time a little bit, like see what websites are actually going to, how much time they're actually spending on them, this router is really cool. I'll put a link in the description on the YouTube channel, and in the podcast, I can't do that, but yeah, just look it up. TP-Link wireless router AX3000, $130 at Walmart. I want to say it's like $150 or $140 at Target and $180 on Amazon. Maybe it'll change by the time this comes out, but that's what it is right now. So anyway, yeah, if you're dealing with a crappy wireless router, which is a huge pain in the butt, just get rid of it. Get a new one. The new ones have really nice technology, and you'll be much happier. It'll be awesome. Okay, so that was that. Let's move on to, so I've already been talking, how long have I been talking? I've already been talking 22 minutes. I don't even bother with a half hour mark. I just want to keep it under an hour at this point because half hour just never happened. So I'm going to do, what are we going to do? 3 more things? Ooh, I got to do fish of the week. I have to do fish of the week. Let me look here. Okay. I need to pull up my podcast. Where? Oh boy. Wait a minute. I had a podcast. That ain't it. Oh, I don't like this. Where'd it go? Oh, podcast. Here it is. I was keeping a log of the podcast because it's sometimes difficult to remember everything that I reviewed. Let's see. I know what I want my fish of the week to be, but I just want to make sure I haven't done that one yet. Okay. I didn't. Okay, episode 18. Take some notes here. 10:25. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I know you guys are patient. You're the best. You're the freaking best. All right. Okay. Woo. All right. Okay. Made my notes. Okay. So we're going to do, I'm going to give you a brief video game update. Very brief video game update. I'm going to do my 5 movie reviews in 5 minutes or less. I'm going to talk about my fish tank topic of the week. The freaking topic of the week there. And then we're going to do fish of the week, and we're going to wrap it up. So we're going to try to keep this podcast under about 40 minutes or so if I can. Okay. So let's do a video game update. I still multiplayer and primarily playing Fortnite and Apex Legends, which I was definitely not playing a year ago. If it were up to me, I probably would be done with Fortnite completely. I've been playing it long enough. It doesn't hold my interest anymore. Everybody that plays it is extremely good. So it's one of those games where you have to try really hard. And I'm playing games to relax and take it easy. So Fortnite, I'm basically done with. My best friend loves that game still, so I'll play it with him, just because that's what good friends do. You know what I'm saying? So I'll play with him, but other than that, I never play by myself anymore. So Fortnite for me is kind of over the hill, done and gone. I moved on to Apex Legends, which I really appreciate because I hated the randomness of the gunplay in Fortnite, and in Apex Legends, it's much more like you hit what you are aiming at, which is awesome. So I am enjoying that game quite a lot. I play that, I would say, as a multiplayer game more than anything else right now. And then in terms of single player games, I actually just picked up Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, an older Call of Duty game, because I just felt like playing a Call of Duty campaign. I don't know why. So I started that last night actually, and I'm 2 levels into it, and I like it so far, which is good. And then the other game that I've started playing is New Super Lucky's Tale. It sounds like a kid game, and it kind of is, but that's fine. It's a platformer. It's on Xbox Game Pass, so I'm playing it for free, and it's actually pretty fun. It's an enjoyable, relaxing game that you can easily make progress in. There's a little bit of thought and puzzle solving involved, but not too much. So that's a fun game. Oh, and by the way, I'm also playing Overcooked 2 with my friend every now and then when we get a chance, and Overcooked 2 is great. I love the first Overcooked. I played it with my kids. Got a little bit tougher for them in later levels, but overall the game is a lot of fun. And if you've never played either of the Overcooked games, I would recommend either of them, especially if you can play with someone in person, like couch co-op. You can sit next to somebody and play a game and communicate and laugh and struggle together and overcome some of the more challenging levels. But that is what I'm doing for my video games lately. So there's that update. And now we're going to move on to the 5 movie reviews in 5 minutes or less. These are all going to be horror films because it's October. And I'm going to start with the most. Now, some of these I've watched more than once, so it's not like this was the first time watching them. And most of them are PG-13 because we've been watching scary movies with the kids this year, which is fun. They're getting into scary movies, but they're not, quite old enough for R-rated movies, so we stick to PG-13, except for one of the movies on the list, which is rated R, but it's pretty tame for an R-rated movie. Okay, so most recently, we did not watch this one with the kids. Most recently, my wife and I watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Came out in 2005. It's basically a courtroom drama mixed with a horror film. It's the retelling of Emily Rose's story. Spoiler alert, you find out very early in the movie that Emily Rose died after the exorcism was performed. Not right away, but days later, weeks later, she died. And the entire film is based on if the priest should be held accountable for her death. So it's like a courtroom drama, and as the courtroom story unfolds, it does flashbacks to what happened during the exorcism, and it's pretty creepy. It's a pretty scary movie. We try to avoid religious themed horror films with the kids, so that's why we didn't watch this one with them. Although it is PG-13, it's pretty creepy and there's a lot of religious elements to it, but my wife and I both gave it a B+. So it's a pretty good film. If you like scary movies, if you like exorcism movies, it's good. It's got some really creepy scenes. There's this one scene where the girl's counting to 6. She's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, over and over again. It's it's just scratching at the walls and it's really pretty. It's pretty creepy. All right. Up next is The Messengers. This is a scary movie. It came out in 2007. This has Kristen Stewart from Twilight fame. In a nutshell, it's about a family who moves to a rural community. They move into a creepy house. There's some sketchy areas in the house. There's some weird happenings with birds and stuff outside. You get the idea. It's something we've kind of seen before. But the one thing that I really liked about the movie is there's kind of a twist near the end that is something unexpected, and it turns this supernatural element of the movie into a very real physical threat in the movie. So I liked it. I gave it a B plus. Not quite A, but it's pretty solid horror movie. Okay, up next is Cujo. This is the movie that was rated R. It actually came out in 1983, so we looked at some of the, parental content things, and it seemed okay. For our kids, it wasn't anything too gory, and there weren't any too many questionable scenes or anything like that. Interesting movie. It's based on a Stephen King novel of the same name, I believe, and it's essentially all about in the movie it's a Saint Bernard. I don't know about the book, but it's about a Saint Bernard that contracts rabies and is rabid and is basically killing people. So it's different because there's no supernatural element. There's no mysterious element. You know exactly what's going on. It's just the fact that this dog is so violent and aggressive, and it could happen in real life too, that makes it pretty scary. So I thought it was okay. I'm used to a little more flash, a little more, I don't know. I didn't think the acting was all that great at times. I actually gave it a C+. It would kind of be worth watching if you're a Stephen King fan, but otherwise, I don't know if I could necessarily recommend that one. Okay, the last two. The next one is Haunting in Connecticut. Came out in 2009. It's another one of those, haunted house type movies. I thought it was pretty good. The whole family liked it. It's not an A movie. I gave it a B. I think I'm having my kids rate movies now, and my wife has always rated movies. She gave it a B also, and the kids gave it a B minus and a B plus. So you average that all together, and it's a B, right? But this one is essentially about, a family that moves to a house because the son has cancer, and he needs to be closer to the hospital where he's receiving treatment. So that part is already kind of sad, and there can be some disturbing pieces that go along with that. But they find out after moving into this house that some weird things are happening. Only the son is seeing it. They attribute a lot of it to his treatment, which is not true. He's actually seeing things happen. And they later find that the house used to be a funeral home. So, you know how that goes. Funeral home, house, bunch of, unfinished business per se, and then you've whatever, right? So kind of a creepy movie. There were some really weird special effects in it that I thought kind of took it down a notch. I can't really describe why it's not an A movie. I guess I wasn't as compelled by it as I am some other movies, so I gave it a B. So there you go. And then the last movie is one you may probably not have heard of. Probably not have heard of. Am I saying this right? I don't know what I'm saying. It is called The Fourth Kind. It came out in 2009. This movie, when I first saw this movie really creeped me out. So all I'm gonna say is go into this movie blind. Don't read anything about it. Take it for what it is. It's a found footage type movie. And gosh dang, is it creepy. And there's an element of possession here and an element of alien, right? Alien abduction, unknown creature. I don't know. It's very weird. It's all about a psychologist who moves to Nome, Alaska, and many of our patients are starting to experience these same type of symptoms, and they're seeing things and they're having visions, and it's really creepy. And it's something that I definitely think if you're a horror fan, you should check out. It's called The Fourth Kind. Came out in 2009. Don't read anything about it ahead of time. I gave it an A-, which is pretty good. So check that movie out. All right. So we got the movie reviews out of the way. Let's move to our fish tank topic of the week. I'm sitting at 34 minutes. I'm going to try to keep this kind of brief, even though this is a fish tank podcast. I talked a lot about fish tank stuff at the beginning, and I actually didn't give you guys an update on my own tanks. So I'll have to save that for the next podcast. The summary is my tanks are doing okay. Yeah. All right. So today I'm just going to talk about a brand new tank that's coming out. I think it just was announced maybe a week ago. It is called the Fluval Aroma. It's a very interesting type tank. These are freshwater tanks. Okay. And they come in different sizes, which is neat. And it was touted as a Bluetooth aquarium, which is an interesting way to market it. Consider only the lighting is related to Bluetooth. The rest of it is not, but they kind of marketed it as a Bluetooth aquarium. It's not. So I'm just going to read you a little bit about the Fluva Aroma. This might be something you would consider for your tank at home if you're looking for a freshwater tank. These are primarily geared towards freshwater rather than saltwater. So this is straight from fluvalaquatics.com. I'm just going to read you about it and then give you my thoughts, and then we'll move on to the fish of the week. All right. So it says, with clean lines and a contemporary design, the popular Aroma Aquarium series offers beautiful aesthetics and functionality for today's modern fish keeper. They now feature energy-efficient LED lighting. Well, daily dollar short on those, right? They now feature, okay, including a bright daylight spectrum to help support plant growth and enhance fish colors. The line also comes equipped with a powerful filter and reliable heater. All right. So, excuse me. I sometimes yawn when I read out loud. I don't know why. Aroma Aquariums have a matching cabinet. These coordinating stands are available in 3 stunning colors to complement any decor, and offer a space-saving design with ample storage to hide accessories. I like that. An internal shelf provides plenty of space to hold a canister filter, while soft closed doors minimize vibrations and reduce stress to your fish. Gosh dang, they're getting serious now. They're worried about the doors minimizing vibrations and reducing stress. Okay. Boy. I mean, like, don't have your aquarium like near your TV, anything. God forbid your fish might explode. All right, so these are available in multiple sizes. The Fluva Aroma aquariums are available in 4 convenient sizes to fit any space. 90 liters, 125 liters, 200 liters, and 240 liters. Liters, huh? Man. Liters. Sorry, I'm a moron here when it comes to metric stuff. Liters to gallons. So let's see, 90 liter. 90 liter is 23 gallons. So they have a 23 gallon, a 33 gallon, a 52 gallon, and a 63 gallon. Initially, I thought those were gallons. I was like, gosh, it starts at 90 gallons. My goodness. All right. Okay, integrated LED lighting, depending on the model you choose. Aroma Aquariums come equipped with 7.5 to 14.5 watt LED lighting, featuring a bright daylight spectrum to support plant growth and enhance fish colors to truly transform your aquarium. Okay, that's cool. Integrated heating. Aroma Aquariums include a premium Italian-made Fluval M series heater, featuring an Okay, so it comes with a Fluval heater. All right. Powerful filtration. All Fluval Aroma aquariums include a powerful Fluval filter. So it looks like, so you got the smaller tanks have a Fluval U series, adjustable three-way flow, easy media access. Is this like a type of canister? I don't really know. And then the largest one has a Fluval 106 filter, which is definitely a canister filter. Okay. So, let's see. There's an add-on called Aqua Sky. As an additional lighting option for Aroma, the Fluval Aqua Sky offers endless color blends. Pairing super bright white LEDs with tri-colored LEDs. This powerful combination provides an adjustable light spectrum, oh boy, which can replicate several natural environments and create stunning visual effects such as cloud cover, fanning, lunar, storm, and lightning. You know what's interesting about that is that I've seen a lot of lights that have these features, like, you know, make it like there's a thunderstorm or there's lightning. Does anybody ever use those beyond, like, when you show somebody the light and you go, oh, look what it could do, right? And you show the lightning happening. Like, does anybody ever use that other than for demo purposes? Because I feel that that's what that's for demo purposes. I don't know if I'd use it for anything else. So, oh, it's interesting. All right. Compare the models. Let's see. They've got 2 models here. Oh, those models just... Okay, how much are these? How much are these? That'll give me a better idea in terms of what I would say about these tanks. How much do these run? Live Aquaria. Let's see. Aquarium Depot has the largest one for 500, which is a 63-gallon tank. What's this eBay? eBay. Fluva Aroma. Oh, okay. Let's do aquarium and cabinet. The 90. Oh. The smallest one with the aquarium and the cabinet is 500, approximately $500. The biggest one is $750. No way. Is anybody actually selling this yet? I don't know if anybody's actually selling it. I think it's that new. Live Aquaria is selling the biggest one with a stand for almost basically a little over $1,300. Wow. Man. I don't know. Well, okay. I think that jeez. Oh man. I think that if you want everything to be pre-done for you and you want it to be really sleek and modern and everything, then yeah, maybe this would be worth it, but gosh dang, this is kind of expensive, especially for that 90-liter one, which is basically a 20-gallon tank. You can get a 20-gallon tank with a nice stand for way less than $400, $450. That's before you even put anything in it. It does come with the heating, though, which is nice. And interesting. I don't know. Is anybody out there considering buying one of these? If so, I'd be really interested to see what model you're buying and if you're buying the cabinet with it, because I don't know if this is really worth it. There's a video here, but you guys can't see it, so I'm not gonna watch that right now. But I really like Fluval. Don't get me wrong. I really love my Fluval Evo 13.5. I kind of liked the other Fluval Evo that I had, the smaller one. It was a little too small for how much I could keep up with it, but like I feel like it was a quality product. And you know, a lot of people would say this 13.5-gallon tank, it's like 150, and they could, you know, people will say like, oh, you could get that for a lot cheaper, you know, if you just buy the tank. But the nice thing about this is it is an all-in-one. It has a custom hood that fits perfectly. The light fits into the hood. It's got a rear chamber. This, as far as I can tell, this Roma does not have a rear chamber. This is just an aquarium. It's just a glass aquarium. So it's kind of interesting. All right. So anyway, there's Fluva Aroma. That's our fish tank topic of the week. Sorry I don't have more to say about it, but there's just not really that much to it. I'm just surprised that it's going to cost that much for what you're getting. 63-gallon. Let me see how much a 60-gallon fish tank is. 60-gallon fish tank. Oh, I mean, but 60 gallons the largest one, okay? 60 gallons the largest one, and I see it ranging in price, so maybe we need to revisit this when we know how much this thing is actually going to cost. But I'm looking at an Aquarium 65-gallon LED aquarium, and it is $350. It's got a nice cabinet with it too. It's $350. So it doesn't come with the heater, right? It doesn't come with the filter. But you're not going to spend that much on a heater. You're not going to spend hundreds of dollars on a heater and a filter. So, I don't know, Fluval. We're going to have to see what you come up with in terms of the price point of this thing before I can really give the A-OK on this guy. All right. Okay. Let's wrap this up here. It's been a solid 45. Gosh dang it. Hey, it's my first podcast back in a long time. I'm a little rusty. All right, so this week's fish of the week is one of my favorite fish of all time. I have it in the Fluval Evo, and it hasn't died yet. I'm going to give it some time, but it hasn't died yet. This is the Diamond Watchman Goby. This thing is nice. It's a very pretty fish. Care level easy, temperament peaceful. Color form orange, white, diet carnivore, reef compatible, yes. Max size 6 inches, minimum tank size 30. 30? Eeh, I have it in a 13.5. Mine's kind of small though. All right, let's do the overview. The Diamond Watchman Goby is also commonly referred to as the Pretty Pawn, Maiden, Orange Spotted Diamond, Orange Dashed, or Orange Spotted Sleeper Goby. It was first discovered in the head and the body are white with orange spots. It is a very timid fish that makes a great addition to the reef tank because of its longevity. I don't know if I agree with that. It should be housed in a 30-gallon or larger aquarium with live sand and an attached populated refugium. The Diamond Watchman Goby uses shallow burrows in the substrate as refuge, keeping the substrate well oxygenated. It rarely becomes aggressive towards other fish, but is territorial and will fight with its own kind unless they are a mated pair. The Diamond Watchman Goby feeds off the bottom as it sifts through sand. Diet should include a variety of live and frozen brine shrimp, mysis shrimp, live blackworms, and prepared food for carnivores. It should be fed frequently. Now, that last sentence is the only thing I'm concerned about. I don't feed it more than once a day, and sometimes I don't feed it every day, so I hope that I can keep it for quite a while longer. I hope he hangs on, he survives. I'm trying to get better at feeding multiple times a day, but I'm not all that great at it. Now, I'm going to do a couple fish testimonials, and then I'm going to give you guys my opinion on it before I wrap it up here. All right. This guy's name is David C. He says, this fish is attractive and also very funny to watch. He will be active all day long, easy to keep, and keeps the sand stirred and clean better than any crab. Only problem I had was his mounts became very large, and he began using my live crab shells to keep it together. Just watch if the shells he uses berries have tenants in them. Candy says, this is a very busy fish. He is constantly moving piles of sand hither and yon. Can be shy at times, but rapidly adapts to aquarium life. Not a picky eater. Let's listen to Sarah C. from Texas. I love this fish. It is fun to watch and has a lot of character. All right. Hey, Isaac from Brooklyn. Hey, the Watchman Goby is a very hyper fish. It digs into the sand and other live rocks, cleans the aquarium decorations, builds tunnels, moves sand to and from anywhere, etc. He's a very enjoyable fish that I recommend. All right. Okay, so basically all these reviews are very positive. The one thing that this thing failed to mention was the fact that he's a freaking jumper. These fish, I call these fish that I'm coming up with right now, I call these kamikaze fish because I've tried to keep them before, and if you have any opening at all in the lid of your aquarium, that fish is going to jump out of it and kill itself. I guarantee it 100%. This is the first Diamond Watchman Goby that I've been able to keep for more than 2 weeks, because every other Diamond Watchman Goby I had jumped out of the tank and killed itself. So, okay, I picked that as my fish of the week, so the suicidal fish. So even though it does that, it 100% does that, and will likely do that if you get one. It will try to jump out of your tank. Despite that, it is an amazing fish. It's really pretty. It has a lot of personality. It moves stuff around your tank. The only negative is that I always have floaties in my water because he's constantly sifting sand through his gills, and it causes it to be stirred up, and it's kind of in the water column all the time. But he's a really cool fish. I really recommend him. If you have a nice snug lid on your aquarium, you won't have any problems. But if you have any gaps anywhere, even if you don't think he is big enough to get through those gaps, he will find a way to starve himself of oxygen, right? Of water. Oxygen gets through the water. Oh, you get plenty of oxygen on the ground. outside your tank. But that's not the kind of oxygen he needs. So, yeah, if you get one, just be wary of that. So, okay, once again, I'm the Fish Tank Guy. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast this week. Like I said, I'm going to try to do this once a month. I really appreciate you guys staying tuned. All 5 of you who listen to the podcast, thank you so much. Please feel free to share this podcast with other people that you know in the fish hobby. If there's anybody you'd like to see me do a podcast with, if there's a guest, if there's somebody you follow on YouTube, if there's an up-and-comer that you want to promote a little bit and you want me to do a podcast episode with them, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that. I think it would make it a lot of fun. And so if you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, please do that also. Look, enough with the plugs. And I know this week I wasn't very funny. I wasn't very animated, but that's just because I'm getting back into it. So next month, I promise you guys, I'm going to bring the funny a little bit more. We're going to have a little bit more fun. It's going to be a little bit more relaxed. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk about anything and everything fish related here on the Fish Tank Guy podcast. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a good week. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in a month.